Are you concerned about falling? In the next year, 1 in 4 seniors will experience a fall. Do not allow yourself to become a statistic. Tai Chi is proven to reduce your fall risk by 58%. Tai Chi, exercise for life, exercise for you.
So the purpose of cross-lateral exercise is to stimulate the brain. And so we are going to give one side of our brain a task to do, and we're going to give the opposite side of our brain the opposite task to do. So this is all about how well your left and your right sides of your brain communicate. And the better they communicate, I believe, the lower your risk of cognitive decline, dementia, and Alzheimer's. So we're going to start off with some very basic tasks to get a baseline to see where we are, and then we're going to build on the difficulty of these. And there will be a point where you will look at your hands and you will have no idea what is going on. And that is okay. Because again, it is the process of working and learning how to do these things that helps to build new neurons and new pathways in your brain, which is the goal. So the more you struggle with this, the more benefit it is actually going to be for you. So we're going to start with our hands out in front of us, and you're going to turn one hand palm down, the other hand is palm up. And very simply, you're just going to change. Always one palm up, always one palm down. Now, if you think that these are easy, that's good. So doing things like this in a memory care class, there's a lot of people cannot do this because they cannot make their brain do one thing on one side and the opposite thing on the other side. They can only do the same thing. So hopefully that was nice and simple. Now, both hands palm up. Now you're going to close one hand, leaving the other one open. And again, you're going to switch. So always one hand open, one hand closed. And so the goal is to challenge your brain, to get your brain to learn and grow. So challenging, doing things that you know how to do is not challenging your brain. Okay? Your brain needs to be working on learning new things. And it's those new things that build new pathways in the brain. Our brains are very plastic. They can learn and grow. And so we need to challenge our brains. So learning new things, evidently learning new languages is a very, very powerful thing for your brain. But you need to keep challenging it. You need to keep learning it. Okay. And shake your hands out a little bit and move your fingers. So this will also be good exercise for your hands, your fingers. It will help to build a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of dexterity in them as you do this. And shake your hands out a little bit. It's nice and easy. Okay, so now we're going to put our hands in front of us, and the exact positioning of your hands is unimportant. I'm doing it like this, so hopefully that you can see this easily. Now we're going to ramp up the levels of the challenge here. One hand, you're going to put your thumb up. Your other hand, you're going to point your index finger at your other hand. And very simply, you're going to switch. And you switch back and forth. So this is a simple exercise. However, it may not be easy. And that's okay. I have met very few people that have been given this as a new exercise and can do it straight away. Or almost everybody struggles as they begin these exercises. And again, it's okay. The important thing is that you take these exercises and you work with them and you practice them, you play with them in order to stimulate and build your brain. And so when you start, just start off nice and slowly. Set yourself up and think, okay, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, index. And then as you get the pattern beginning to build, you coordinate the two movements. Good. And shake your hands out again and move your fingers. And different people will find different exercises either difficult or easy. From my experience, there seems to be no logic to what people find easy and what people find difficult. Shake hands. Okay, so we go back to the two gently closed fists again. We put the thumb up on one hand, and this time we put the small finger out on the other hand. And again, you switch, and you just whoa, and you switch back and forth. And sometimes your brain is like, okay, which one are we doing? And then you get. The more you do this, the more you're going to stimulate your brain, the easier it becomes. It's just spend a minute every day doing something like this. play with it. Consider it to be play. And we just go back and forth. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. The better you get at one, the easier the others become. Yeah, shake your hands out again. And again, move your fingers. Give your hands a little bit of a rub. And shake them out. Okay, and again, we go to the two fists. And we put the pinky out on one hand. And we put the index finger out on the other hand. And now, again, we switch back and forth. I think one of the nice things about this is that once you know a couple of these, you can start to show family and friends these and confound them over this. Because you only really need to know one in order to confound people. And whichever one you find the easiest, I would start with whatever that exercise is. Work on that, play with that until you get it going good. And then add another one. It's not about doing all of them today. It's about starting off, doing one, learning how to do one. Once you've learned how to do that one, you will find that the other ones come a little easier. So don't overwhelm yourself and try and do all of them. Start small. Good. And shake your hands out again. And move your fingers. Good. Give them a little bit of a rub. And if your fingers do become stiff or sore, just stop. And shake them out. Okay. Now the exercise where all of this started for me, shoot the bunny. And so in this exercise, you're going to make bunny ears with one hand, and you're going to point at the bunny with the other hand. Important thing is that the thumb is up on this hand and the thumb is in on the other hand. And very simply again, you're going to switch. So you have the bunny with the thumb in and thumb up on the other hand. And you just switch back and forth. So I was shown this exercise in 2002, and I struggled with this. I'm like, what is going on here? This is very simple, and yet I can't do it. And so I practiced. And I practiced slowly, and I worked on it until I could do it. And then I realized how good this was for your brain. And so a couple of years ago, I had a student ask me how I did the mirror image thing when I'm teaching classes, because they tried doing it and struggled with it. And I think this is one of the reasons why it works for me, is that I do exercises like this to stimulate my brain to differentiate between left and right. Plus, the other thing is practice. You'll find that there are a lot of instructors out there where you have exercises that are site specific, and through simple repetition of doing it over and over again, you develop the ability to be able to put your right hand up and say that you're putting your left hand up, or whatever it may be. And there's no way I'm perfect at it. I make mistakes. I get my lefts and my rights mixed up. It's okay. Good. And shake them out again. All right, now take one thumb and massage your thumb, emphasis around the base of the fingernail, tip of your finger. So let's take this opportunity as well to give our hands a little bit of love. Good, next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Switch hands. We should take as much time as we can to give our hands some love. Next one. Almost everything that we do, we use our hands for. And yet we have a tendency to ignore them. So give your hands some appreciation. Give them some love. Next one. Next one. And last one. And shake them out again. Okay, little bit of a variation on the shoot the bunny. This time we're going to have two bunnies. And again, the thumb is in. Point at the two bunnies and switch. And again, switch back and forth. Now, some people think this is a little bit easier than just one bunny. We just, again, we start slow. And we just go back and forth. Good. And shake your hands out again. A little bit of movement in the fingers. And now open the webs of your thumbs and gently tap the webs of your thumbs. Here we're stimulating the 8 ghosts. 8 ghosts, one between each digit. And each ghost is responsible for the digit next to them. And this is one of my favorite things to do if my hands are feeling tired or sore, or I don't want them to feel tired or sore. I will do the massage of each finger, and then I will tap the 8 ghosts. Now, interlace your fingers. Important that your fingers rub up onto the back of your opposite hand. If you're doing this, you are not going to tap the ghosts. Excuse me. Okay. And gently tap those ghosts. And shake your hands out a little bit again. And move your fingers. Okay, so having tapped the 8 ghosts, we are going to count our fingers to make sure that we still have the correct number of fingers. So you're going to use your thumb to count your fingers. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go back to double check. We go 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we just keep counting up and down the fingers. And as you get better coordinated with this, you can start to speed up. Because the double tap on the index and the small finger makes this movement a little bit more challenging as you speed it up. Good. Shake that hand out and take your other hand. So again, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, just start slowly because you need to develop the connections in your brain in order to be able to do this easily. And that takes time. If you were to go to the gym and you were to start lifting weights, you don't walk in and pick up a 50-pound weight and start doing bicep curls. You start with something light and you build. And your brain is just the same way. You need to give it time to learn how to do the things that you are asking it to do. Again, just speed it up. Okay. And shake your hands out. Shake your hands. And again, interlace your fingers and now roll your wrists around. So helping to bring range of motion into your wrists. And then, because today's about the brain, change direction. And if you're not used to doing this, you may well find that this way doesn't work. And that's okay, because we're challenging our brain. And shake your hands out and move your fingers. Okay, so we've counted one hand at a time. So now we're going to count both hands together. So again, starting with the thumb and the index, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ensuring that you get that double tap on the index and the small fingers. And again, once you feel confident in something like this, you start to speed it up so that you are stimulating your brain to check the speed of those connections, but also its coordination. Coordination between the physical and the mental. The coordination between the left and the right brain. The coordination between the left and the right hand. And then see if you can speed it up a little bit. And there will come a point where you just can't keep that coordination going. And at that point, you shake your hands out and you move your fingers again. And you interlace your fingers again and you gently move one wrist up and then the other. Keeping those wrists as flexible as we can. And then put your palms together, and now nod your wrists. A flexible mind leads to a flexible body. A flexible body leads to a flexible mind. Good. And move your fingers again. And shake your hands out. And now we always need to double check things. So we're going to count our fingers one more time. So one hand, we're going to start with the thumb and the index. On the other hand, we are going to start with the thumb and the small finger. So you're going to count up one hand as you are counting down the other hand. Some people will find that it may be easier to close their eyes and to work on it being purely a kinetic exercise. Take the visual of what you can see out of the equation, and it may be easier. Well, shake about. As I say, at some point you will get to where it's like, this doesn't quite work. And that's a good point to find, because that's where you are learning and growing and stimulating. Okay, move those fingers again. Good, now move your thumbs. Circle your thumbs. Good, circle your index fingers. Direction. Circle your middle fingers. Change direction. Circle your ring fingers. And circle your small fingers. Good. Shake them out. And now we touch the tips of all of our fingers together. And we're trying to get it that the very tip is touching rather than the print touching. And so we're going to take our thumbs and we're going to twiddle our thumbs. Ideally, they do not touch. Change direction. And put your thumbs together again. And now you're going to go to your index finger. Twiddle your index finger. Again, trying to keep the very tips of the other fingers touching. And your index fingers Do not touch. And change direction. And touch your index fingers back together again. And now we go to our middle fingers. Again, twiddling your middle fingers. Trying to keep them apart. Change direction. Yes. And touch those fingers. And now we go to the ring fingers. I think the ring finger is the one that I have the most difficulty with. You slow it down. It changes direction. And pull those two fingers together. And now onto the small finger. Which I find the small finger is pretty easy. But keeping the other fingers touching. And change direction. And shake your hands out. And move your fingers. So as we did that, one of our goals was to keep the very tips of our fingers touching. Because right next to your fingernail are the 10 diffusions. 10 diffusions, one of their tasks is to stimulate your brain. So again, put the very tips of your fingers together and tap the tips of your fingers. Again, helping to stimulate your brain. And shake your hands out. Move your fingers. Yes, rub your hands again. And your wrists. Other wrist. Forearm. Other forearm. Elbow. Other elbow. And shake your hands out. Good. Now, take one hand. Take your other hand. You're going to touch your thumb to your small finger to your thumb. And so you may remember doing this change where you bring your thumb up to touch your small finger. A little bit of hand-eye coordination, a little bit of dexterity, a little bit of brain activity. However, we want now to step this up a notch. So now when your thumb comes up and round, it's going to touch your ring finger. Ring finger. Okay. So now we're walking on the ring finger. Now we bring our thumb up, we touch the middle finger. And index finger. Whoop. You can cheat a little bit and tuck your fingers in if you want to on this one. Make it a little bit easier. So now we can do each finger. Now we're going to walk up and down. So we do index, index, middle, middle, ring, ring, small, small, ring, ring, middle, middle, index, index. Okay. So you can just walk on one and then walk up and down. So a lot of these exercises, I like to close my eyes and do it a tactile way. But this one, I like to have my eyes open because and then shake them out and move those fingers. Rub your hands. And something that we have all done before, no doubt, you're going to put one hand on your belly, one hand on your head, and you're going to rub your belly and you're going to pat your head. And now switch. You're going to rub your head and pat your belly. Good. Switch hands. So rubbing your head, patting your belly. Patting your head, rubbing your belly. And you may find that one of these exercises or one side is easier than the other. I find it easier to pat my head and rub my belly than vice versa. Good. And shake your hands out again. And move your fingers. And tap the webs of your thumbs again. Because I like this one. Webs of your fingers. Move your fingers. Shake your hands. And saving my favorite for the end. So we're going to place our hands on our thighs. And we're going to pat our thighs. One hand is going to come up and touch your opposite ear. Your other hand is going to come up and touch your nose. Pat your legs. And now we switch. So your other hand comes up to touch the opposite ear. Other hand comes up to touch the nose. Tap the knees. And so we switch. One hand touching the opposite ear. Other hand touching the nose. And again, if you want to, you can speed it up. Work on that coordination. Yeah, I had a thought then. Yeah, and shake your hands and your arms out again. Move your fingers. Interlace your fingers. Push your palms away from you, round your shoulders, and bring them in. And push away. And shake your arms. So hopefully that stimulated your brain a little bit today. Remember, one step at a time. Take one exercise, work on that, get that going, and then build on that. And just keep building and building, keeping that brain working, keeping that brain growing, keeping that brain learning. And remember that doing Tai Chi has been shown to increase brain function. So a clinical study between a Florida university and a university in China, they MRI'd a group of people in their 60s and 70s. They MRI'd their brains. And after 12 weeks of Tai Chi, they showed that their brains had grown in both weight and volume. And so the coordination that you are doing in Tai Chi, where you have, for instance, one hand moving up, the other moving down, one moving in, one moving out, trying to coordinate your feet, your center, your breathing, your hands, your eyes, has a huge effect on your brain. And it is that struggle to get all of those things coordinated that is the important part, because it is that that grows your brain. Okay, so keep doing your Tai Chi, and if you are struggling with the coordination, know that it's doing you good. Some people say that they can't do Tai Chi because they're not coordinated, and that is exactly the reason that they should be doing Tai Chi, so they can become coordinated.